Alrighty, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It's the Earthmaster here on this Wednesday night, November 2nd, 2022. Starting to feel a little bit like wintertime out here in California. Had some thunderstorms roll through with some dramatic drop in temperatures tonight. Right now, 42 degrees here along the west coast in California. Latest earthquake shows a 2.1 on the big island of Hawaii. All right, let's go ahead and check out the latest activity out here across the globe, across a flat scale model Earth, however you want to look at it. Starting off here along the big island, seeing a little bit of uptick here within the last hour around the Mauna Loa area. Very shallow earthquake activity, very shallow movement here across Mauna Loa tonight. These earthquakes kicking up here within the last hour. No major swarms, but who knows? This could be a start to something major. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Around Pahala area, seen some activity as well. And still waiting for the USGS to review this earthquake off the coast of the Big Island. This earthquake came in pretty much immediately following last night's 6.0 earthquake well off the coast of California last night. Still sits at an automatic status review. And by the way, in regards to this earthquake, I did get a message back from the USGS in regards to this earthquake. Stand by for just a second while I pull this up. And they didn't really say too much about what was going on, but they're kind of talking about the intraplate earthquake activity. And this is from the USGS, and I'm going to quote, "We occasionally see just distributed intraplate seismic activity in the Pacific Ocean. All earthquakes occur from the release of stresses built up over time. Source of stresses in the middle of the ocean are difficult to access because of their remoteness. So that is the message that they replied back to me in regards to this intraplate earthquake here. Kind of wanted to see what they were, what their thoughts were on this earthquake. This struck well off the coast of California, well away from the plate boundary. And that's what they wrote. It is really close to a fracture zone, so I believe this is definitely stress related out there along the plates, along the fault systems and the fracture zones. West Coast activity, no further movement noted here along the Cascadia currently. Some spotty activity throughout the Washington region across a couple volcanoes up there. No major movement across California right now, and that's up and down the state. We do have one earthquake here coming in to the geyser activity, it looks like, within the last few minutes, but this is very typical up here along the Calpine hydrothermal sewer operations there, creating power by injecting raw sewage below into the heated surface, the heated areas below. Crazy, very crazy to think about. No major movement across the Garlock Fault Zone, a little small microquake there. And far as the extreme Southern California area, not a whole lot. A little spotty tonight, nothing major going on across the area. Into the Utah area, we've seen this activity kick up outside of Ogden, Utah. Yellowstone National Park. Got a little bit of swarming. It looks like the last earthquake was about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And I kind of want to verify that. I kind of want to see if that is the correct magnitude and the correct activity. It looks like definitely since about 2 o'clock this afternoon, there's been some more earthquakes. But the last larger one was up there around the... let's see, where did that go? Oh, we got so many windows open here. Last earthquake, it looks like a 0.9 earthquake at about 21:36 UTC time. So 21:36 is going to be roughly around this area right here. 21:36. I would, yeah, that looks about right. 0.9 earthquake. But since then, it looks like we've seen a couple smaller earthquakes throughout the early evening time frame. But to be honest, I don't think they've shown all the activity up there. I got to get rid of a few of these windows. I'm one of those guys that like to keep up literally like 20 windows on my PC screen here, and I know that's not good, but that's the way it's been since the Windows 95 period, way back when. Not giving away my age, but it's been a while. I like to keep windows open. Let's see what else we got here for the eastern portion of the country. Not a whole lot. A little relief out here along the west coast, I would say. We're not seeing that uptick like we were seeing last night, including that 6-pointer out there in the Pacific. Around the Caribbean plate, about the same. Only a couple spotty earthquakes throughout the afternoon. We did have a 4.7 off the coast of Guatemala, about 81 kilometers deep into the middle part of the Middle America Trench, down dip here into this area. South America region, a little spotty activity. And South America hasn't seen anything following that 6.1 early this morning there. No further activity in that region. So kind of looking at this map here, considering the activity, we're still kind of seeing spotty activity across the west coast, with no major adjustment, no major westward movement, southward movement, eastward movement. We're kind of at a standstill right now for earthquake activity across the region, and who knows? I mean, this activity is not really pointing towards anything specific, but I still think, following last night's activity here along the eastern Pacific here, just off the coast, but well off the coast of California, including all the activity we've seen here along the adjacent plates, we still need to watch this region. We haven't seen any further westward pressure, which would indicate some release of the stress zones out here along the eastern Pacific. So until that happens, I still think we need to watch the California coast, west coast area. Latest earthquake here around the western Pacific shows a 4.3 around the Japan Trench. Very shallow earthquake at about 10 kilometers deep. No major adjustment up there around the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench currently. Into this area of the world, looks like the latest earthquake there in Iran. Gotta remember that. Iran. I've been corrected numerous times, so as long as I pronounce that correctly at least once, right? 4.1 earlier this evening time frame, it looks like, at 10 kilometers deep along this plate boundary. And this is kind of the area that's seen the halt of westward pressure recently. We've been noting a train of earthquake activity across the Java Trench, the Indonesia area, and across Papua New Guinea. And it pretty much came to a halt here around the Middle Eastern area. But no major further westward movement. So kind of maybe a little key there as to what maybe are pinpoint areas for larger earthquake activity. There's definitely a lot of stress building up here in this region, and we will continue to watch that. In Turkey, we've seen a 4.8. That was earlier this morning, about 10 o'clock my time here. The Atlantic Ocean, Northern Atlantic, looks like this activity here from way earlier this morning and late last night. No further activity across this area of the world. So I'm just kind of curious to see what's going on here following this 6-pointer. No major unusual adjustment Just a couple notable quakes there around Cascadia, along the San Andreas Fault as well, and also into Arizona, where we've seen this pair of 3-pointers kick up following that 6-pointer off the coast of the plate boundary here. Let's see what we got for a tremor. Again, nothing. Amazing. This is like number, what do we got here? Probably day number 4 of no tremor activity at all. It's a little on the odd side to go completely quiet like that. So I think we're definitely building some strain out there along the Cascadia. Last tremor activity was 147 epicenters back on the 30th, looks like, so just a couple days ago. And it's not abnormal for the tremor to kind of go up and down in far as frequency goes. Let's see what else we got here. Tremor pretty quiet tonight. Let's check out Mount Rainier. Seismic activity. Kind of curious to see what's going on up there, up north of me. And I'm still seeing earthquake activity, it looks like, over the last couple hours on the graph. And far as earlier this afternoon and the morning time frame, that continues. Definitely looks like there's some earthquake activity spiking up here on the graph. Very small microquakes, but definitely earthquake activity nonetheless there around the Mount Rainier area. The solar weather activity, there is our expected storming conditions here, as far as solar weather activity goes, around the November 5th time period. Looks like the coronal hole, the high-speed solar wind stream that was flowing from 39, that's going to be this this guy right here, will be reaching us around that time period on November 5th. Nothing major expected, up to around 4 to 5 in the KP index scale, with a G0 class storm. So we'll see how that plays out. Current conditions here shows a little bit of elevated conditions at the higher latitudes around Canada and northward around Iceland, Greenland area. And that's kind of a not that big of a deal. Current conditions shows a little bit of amplification here from the speed and the density, along with a little tilt here along the BZ component. Noticing the red line, red dots here, separating up here from the north, the BT component, and that's allowing a little bit of solar wind stream to flow in and create some elevated conditions across the region. Solar flare activity, that's a little depressing story, because we're not really looking at anything major or anything complex at all. I mean, this is a little bit on the depressing side. Let me go back here. Where did we go? Kind of lost that real quick. Stand by for a second. Little bit on the depressing side, because I kind of like to see elevated conditions there in the solar department, and that's not currently happening, unfortunately. Not a whole lot of C-flare activity popping off. Things pretty neutral across the X-ray flux chart, and that's probably going to be the way it is staying for a little while, until we see some new regions with some complex magnetic fields popping up there. Alrighty, folks, we are going to jump off here and continue on about my business outside here. Got a little fire going outside in the fire pit tonight, and we'll probably pop up a video or two for the super fans out here. We We did have a little thunderstorm blow through with a little bit of rain, but man, did it drop. The temperature is pretty much about 20 degrees or so, from mid 60s down into the lower 40s right now. So it's going to be a little bit of a chilly night, and just kind of enjoying a little bit of outside fire activity. Kind of wondering what happened to this. There we go. Brought it back up here. Sometimes it disappears on its own. The solar ham aurora oval forecast disappears on occasion whenever it wants to. All right, folks, I'm leaving up the West Coast earthquake watch for the remainder of the night. We'll see what activity looks like tomorrow morning, but I still think it's called for to remain in effect until at least tomorrow morning, if not sooner, pending we see any larger earthquake activity out here along the western Pacific. And right now, current conditions right here doesn't show a whole lot of major movement out that way. New Zealand area definitely shown a little bit of a deeper activity along the Kermadec Trench, and some shallower earthquake activity south of the Philippines, around the Indonesia area, with just kind of neutral conditions out here. There's really no one way or the other in terms of earthquake movement right now, but just kind of keeping an eye on things. And if anything happens, we'll definitely be back here to report on that. Till then, I hope everyone enjoys their night, and crazy times out here. Best thing to do is be prepared, and make sure you guys have a plan and stay safe out there. We'll chat you guys very soon.